Everybody say hi, Lacey. Hi. All right. This section is going to go by a lot faster now that you guys kind of know the rules already a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to kind of go fast. Section 4.2 talks about the first of the 4 rules for finding derivatives. There are 4 of them, main ones anyway. And the first one is called the power rule. Okay, we wrote these down at some point, like before Christmas break. I had you guys write these down. The power rule is what we're going to focus on today. Number 2 is the product rule. And the quotient rule. Hold on.
What did you say?
Product rule, quotient rule. These 2 are lumped together in section 4.3. So this guy is 4.2, that guy's 4.3. And then 4.4 is the chain rule. Okay? So, for the next couple sections, that's what we're going to be talking about. All of these are finding derivatives just with different types of functions. Okay? Good? Moving on? All right, so they call this one the constant rule, but this is kind of lumped into the power rule as well. Okay. The constant rule says that if you have a number, like just a constant number, and you're taking the derivative. What are you doing? Why are you moving?
Because I want to use my pen.
Why?
Because. Why not?
Because I put you here.
Because Brooklyn's my best friend. That's a lie. Yeah, that is.
Come sit down. You're wasting time. Come sit down.
Fine, just go.
No, come sit. Come sit.
I'll take a detention after school if I can sit here.
You still owe me. It's like tripled now.
How?
I'm not arguing this with you right now. Sit. All right, the constant rule says that if you have a constant number, you're taking the derivative of it. It is 0. So, the derivative of 7. The derivative of 7 would be 0. But, since it is named y, what do we call the derivative of y?
F prime.
Y prime.
We'll call it y prime. If it is called f of x, we'll call it f prime of x. So we'll note it like that. That's how we will note the derivative, y prime. Okay, number 2.
How do you know it's 0?
We will call this f prime of x when we find the derivative. Okay? Liddell just said, how do we know it's 0? When you're taking the derivative of just a number that does not have x, it's just 0, right? Okay? So the derivative of 0 is 0, right? This guy would be s prime of t. What's the derivative of negative 3?
0.
It is 0. Okay? Now, number 4. They call it y, so to find the derivative, we call it y prime. And this says that k is a constant number, which means k is a number. Is pi a number?
Yes.
And if I square it, it's still a number?
So 0.
So this guy's derivative is still going to be 0. Anytime you take the derivative of just a number that does not have x, it falls off the end and it is just 0.
Does that say 24 through 40?
4 through 40. 2 comma 4 through 40.
4 through 40?
These go fast. Look, we just got 4 of them done.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
All right, here's the power rule.
Never like the book.
Just wait. Here's the power rule. N x to the n minus 1. Okay? The exponent drops down in front, and then you subtract 1 from the exponent, yeah? That's always the way that the power rule goes. You take the exponent, drop it down in front, and then subtract 1 from the exponent. So, number 1, they call it f of x. So to find the derivative, we call it f prime of x. And the derivative of x to the 3rd power. Drop the 3 down in front, subtract 1 from the exponent, 3x squared. Done. Good? Okay, now it's going to get a little bit harder because you're going to have to change the function before you take the derivative. So we can't take the derivative of the cubic root of x because we're going to write it as x to the what? 1/3, like we did yesterday, right? The cubic root of x is x to the 1/3 power. All right, now to find the derivative, we're going to call him g prime of x, okay? And x to the 1/3 power. We need to move the 1/3 down in front. Okay, so it'll be 1/3 x, but then I subtract 1 from this. Okay, 1/3 minus 1 is a negative 2/3 power. Okay, now I want to fix that because I don't want negative exponents. All right, right now, since that x is off to the side, it's kind of like he's in the numerator. So I want to move him back down to the bottom. Okay, so he's going to be with the 3 on the bottom. He'll be 1 over 3x to the positive 2/3 power. Does that make sense? Are we doing all right so far? But then, what does the 2/3 power look like?
Square root of x to the third? Or is it?
Other way around.
Cube root of x squared.
The cubed root of x squared, yep. Okay, and let's make sure we put g prime of x equals, this is my derivative, okay? So sometimes it takes a little bit more work than just finding the straight derivative, right? Sometimes it takes a little bit more work, okay? All right, moving on. Number 3, we're going to call it y prime, but before we take the derivative of 1 over x squared, we've got to move him back to the top. Okay, when we move him to the top, he becomes what? X to the negative 2 power. All right, he's on the top, x to the negative 2 power. Find the derivative, multiply, or take the 2 down in front. So negative 2.
2 is it, because it's x.
Hold on, negative 2x to the, I have to subtract 1 from this exponent. So, negative 3. Okay,
Oh my god.
now to fix it,
Full back.
move it back down to the bottom. So what does it look like?
1 over 2x.
Mm.
Wait, negative
Negative
2
2 over-
x.
The negative 2 stays on the top, right? He doesn't have a negative exponent.
Okay.
Over
X to the 3.
x to the 3rd power. That's what he looks like. Does that make sense? Okay, the only thing you're bumping to the bottom is the 3. The x to the 3rd power. Good? Yeah? These go by fast because you kind of know the rules already, right? Okay?
It's hot.
All right, here we go. Find the slope of the graph of f of x equals x to the 4th when we have x equals each one of these 3 things, okay? So, finding slope of a tangent line is like finding the derivative, okay? Whenever they say find the slope at that point, you're finding the derivative,
How did you zoom through it?
okay? Find the slope means find the derivative.
What are you doing?
I didn't circle my answer there.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Find the slope means find the derivative. So my function here is x to the 4th power.
Okay.
Okay.
Plug in negative 1.
Find the derivative of that. So f prime of x equals, hold on,
Equals 1.
f prime of x equals
4x
what?
to the third.
4x to the 3rd. That's my derivative, okay? Now, derivative is, here's where you're going to get stuck, okay? A derivative is supposed to be a slope. But 4x to the 3rd power is not a slope because it has an x in it.
So then you plug your thing
So
in
now
there.
I am going to evaluate the slope at each one of these 3 places by plugging that into the derivative equation. So 4 times negative 1 to the 3rd power. 4 times 0 to the 3rd power. 4 times 1 to the 3rd power. Okay, so what's the slope of the first one going to be?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. Okay, the slope of the second one
0.
is going to be a slope of 0. The slope of the third one
4.
is going to be a positive 4. Okay,
Wait, so it's just the first number up there? Wait.
what do you mean?
Oh, never mind. I had a
Well,
short
we
one.
plug those numbers in to get the slope at each place. Okay,
I lost my pencil.
so a derivative will give you the slope at any point. Then you have to tell what the specific point is that you're looking for. Okay, you have to find the specific point that what you're looking for. All right, now adding to that, here's the next thing. Find an equation of a tangent line to the graph of f of x equals x squared when you are looking at negative 2 as your x. Okay? We're going fast. We did all these same things yesterday. Okay? Find the equation.
Who is it harder to miss?
Caden, put it away. You're not going to know how to do any of this. Put it away. Now. Alright, find the equation of a tangent line. Okay? Equation of a line. Equation of a line. Equation of a line. What's the equation of a
Y
line?
equals mx plus b.
Okay, that's where you're going to start. Y equals mx plus b. Equation of a line. That's where you're starting. All right, now, m is the slope of the tangent line, right? Slope of tangent line. What's another name for the slope of a tangent line?
Derivative.
The derivative, okay? So, to find the m, we have to find the derivative. The derivative of what?
The derivative of x squared.
The derivative of x squared. What's the derivative of x squared?
2x.
2x. So f prime is the derivative of 2x. But 2x is not a slope. I have to find the number for the slope.
It's -4.
But I have to plug -2 in there. So -4 is my slope. That's what m is, because the derivative is the slope of the tangent line. So at this point now, I have
Y equals -4x plus b.
y equals -4x plus b. Okay, now here's the tricky part. Are you ready? They're trying to trick you a little bit here. The last thing that I need to find is the b. And to find the b, I have to plug a number in for y and a number in for x. And I know that I'm going to plug -2 in for x. But what do I plug in for y?
0.
1,
Same thing.
2.
I don't know what the y is.
No,
I have to go looking for the y value, okay? If x is -2, what's the y value going to be on that graph?
Plug it in.
Plug it into the original to find the y value, right? This is the point -2, comma,
So 4.
4. If I plug it into the x squared, if I plug it into the original, it is actually the point -2, comma, 4, right? So I'm going to plug 4 in for y and -2 in for x. So that one was a little bit of a trick that they usually give to us, but we had to actually find it this time. We had to work for it a little bit, okay? All right, so 4 equals
B equals -4.
8
Positive 8.
plus b
So -4.
minus the 8. b is
-4.
-4. So
Y equals -4x minus 4.
y equals -4x minus 4. That's the equation of my tangent line. Good?
Yeah.
Good? Okay, let me show you what this is doing right here. Okay, let me do this. Let me go to Desmos.
No.
I had coffee this morning.
You had what?
Coffee from downtown.
I'm surprised.
I don't know.
Why? Because you stay with your finger without steam.
I'm like wired until about
There's a pretty big difference between crack and steam.
It's freaking. I would get out there.
2. I want to be in there.
I don't.
I need to shave.
Hey, there's only 6 home games.
Okay.
Feel my leg.
Check this out, folks.
Oh, come on.
That's
This is like a week.
Same. I didn't shoot till last
My
week.
hair.
Okay,
So
this is the problem. This is the exact problem that we just came up with. Okay, you see the original function.
That was serious.
Okay.
Let's turn it off.
The original function is x squared. That's a parabola. You see the parabola drawn. It's the one in red. The parabola. Okay. We were trying to find the equation of the tangent line at -2.
Probably not.
Okay. -2 is this dot. If you're not going to listen, you can go. I don't care. I told you to put it away once.
What if you were texting your husband?
I don't care.
hey,
I
tell
told you to
Brad
put it
happy
away once.
birthday.
All right.
Is it his birthday?
The parabola x squared is the red one.
Facebook.
-2 is the point that we are finding the tangent line of. Okay. And we said that blue line that we were going through was -4x minus 4. That's what we just found. The equation of that line. Yeah. He has a slope of -4. To find the -4, we plugged everything back in, the x and the y, and -4x minus 4 is the equation of the blue line. Yes?
Yep.
Good. That's exactly what we just found. All right. Next thing, they're going to start making us find derivatives of functions that are kind of ugly. Okay? So, this step right here where we rewrite the function before we find the derivative is the key. All right? So, this first one, y equals 2 over x. This is not quite as complicated as the other three, but 2 over x, if we rewrite it, what do we need to do in order to rewrite it?
Do you have to switch that crap?
Move the x to the top. Okay? X on the bottom is x to the first power, and when we rewrite it and put it at the top, it is y equals 2 x to the
0.
Nope.
1.
-1. Right? We move it to the top, it becomes negative. Yeah? Okay, now, we want to differentiate, which means find the derivative. Okay? So, when we find the derivative of a y, we call it y prime. Don't forget your y prime equals, okay? Drop the -1 down in front. -1 times 2? -2. X to the?
0.
-2.
You're subtracting 1. You're subtracting 1 from this exponent, so -2. Okay? Now, we want to simplify, which means fix it. What's wrong with it now?
-2
Flip
over
that.
x.
We want to put that thing down below again. So y prime is equal to -2 over x positive 2. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's what
You betcha. There you go. There's my simplification.
Oh, God.
Good? Confusing at all? Okay. They're starting to get more and more and more steps on each one of these.
Just kind of
It's all just like simplifying and rewriting stuff. Okay?
I don't care.
All right, moving on. Okay, next one.
Probably.
All right, number 2. 1 over 2 and the cubic root of x squared. Blech. Rewrite. Y equals. This is gonna have 2 rewrite steps. Okay? 1 over 2. What is the cubic root of x squared as an exponent?
Cubic root of x squared. 2/3.
X to the 2/3 power. You betcha. X to the 2/3 power. Okay, now
That, but I can't subtract.
I want to move that x to the 2/3 power up to the top.
So flip it.
Okay, so here's what's gonna happen. I'm
A negative 2/3.
kind of move it up to the top. This 2 gets to stay,
Yeah.
right?
That's the extra
Okay,
negative.
so this is what it's gonna look like. I'm gonna write it as 1 over 2, like 1/2, right? That's what this part is. And then I'm gonna have the x to the negative 2/3 power off to the
Is
side.
that your difference?
Does that make sense?
Um,
This is
to the
still a
side.
rewrite step. We're still on the rewrite step. So we have 2 rewrite steps, okay? And then we'll differentiate. Okay, so not yet. That's my second rewrite step. Do you see how I've moved him to the top, but I've just kind of shoved him off the side? Moving him to the top, shoved him off the side. All right, now we have to find the derivative. So this is y prime equals. Take the negative 2/3 and multiply it down in front. Okay, what is negative 2/3 times 1/2? Negative 2/3 times 1/2.
Negative 2/6.
Or you can cancel the 2's. Yeah.
Negative 1/3.
Negative 1/3, okay? Negative 1/3 x to the, if I subtract 1, okay? I take negative 2/3 and I subtract
Wait,
1.
I can do this. That's negative 3/3.
-1 2/3.
Okay, but leave it as an improper fraction.
So
Okay, negative 1
5/3.
is like 3/3, okay?
-5/3.
Negative 5/3. Blah. Okay, let me talk through that again.
This
Okay.
is crap.
So we move the negative 2/3 down in front. We got negative 1/3 when we multiply by the 1/2. And if I take the negative 2/3,
Must be
if I take negative 2/3 and I subtract 1, negative 2/3 minus 3/3 is negative 5/3. Okay? Are we okay so far?
Yeah.
Okay, now moving back.
I've never been better.
We're gonna rewrite.
1 over 3x 3.
Okay, negative 1 over 3 x to the
5 square root of 3.
5/3, because now he's positive. I moved him back down to the bottom. Okay, and now if I rewrite him again,
Why? Sorry.
okay, negative 1 over, what's the 5/3 power look like?
The fifth
Cube root of 5 x 5.
Cube root of x5. That's what he is. Okay, if you can do that in your head, great. If not, do 2 steps like we did.
What does that say? Cube?
Cube root of x to the 5th.
Numerator goes inside.
Numerator goes inside. Yep.
How thing is stupid.
I'll rewrite him. 3.
Question my life.
3.
Why didn't I take general math?
Not
I
right.
don't know.
Would they even know? Can anybody take general math?
Yeah, but Hubble won't let any of you, I'm sure.
Watch me.
That's
I bet
very
he would let me.
cash money.
Well, tomorrow's your last day to switch, so. But he won't let you, and I won't either, so.
What do you mean you?
I don't have to. I don't care what you do.
What did you just say?
I bet Mr. Hubble.
My
would let me.
life, my
I'm
decision.
pretty dumb.
All right.
I don't understand what you said.
Third one, number 3.
Okay, and
5 over 2x to the 3rd power. Okay. First thing,
It's outside the parentheses.
it's outside the parentheses, the cubed. 2x to the 3rd power is actually the same thing as what?
8x to the 3rd power.
8x to the 3rd power, right? 2 to the 3rd power and x to the 3rd power. That's actually 8x to the 3rd power. So fix that, change that,
Okay.
okay? Now, we need to move the x to the top. Do we need to move the 8 to the top?
blah. No.
No, we need to move the x to the top. So I'm going to move the x to the 3rd power to the top, and I'm going to leave this as 5/8. And we move the x to the top, but we shove him off the side. So he is x to the negative 3 power, right? X is technically on the top, but he's shoved off the side,
I
right?
guess what the answer is.
Sure.
No. Okay,
You want to try it?
keep
Try
going.
it.
How about we keep
Try
going?
it. Try to do it by yourself.
It's funny.
I'm writing in pen.
Okay, I'll give you a second if you want to try.
Alright,
If
can
you want to
check
try
my
by yourself,
answer?
try it by
Can you
yourself.
check my answer?
What's it? Why did we
Yes.
even move it up in this?
Okay. So, wait, did you put a negative in front of that? Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Okay. All right, ready? So, now we're ready to go and we're ready to find the derivative.
Put it in
When?
That's water. Yes.
All right.
language, I'm like,
Now we need to find the derivative. So,
okay.
-3 comes down in front.
Yes.
All right,
You
now.
tell her to sit down.
Negative 15 over 24.
No.
Grip strength.
I'm gonna take it.
Grip strength.
Sit. When?
Negative 15
That's actually
over
really
8.
impressive. It's gonna smack all your head.
What are you doing?
I'm going to wait for them to pay attention so I don't have to say this 4 times.
Just like a slingshot.
Not gonna lie,
I found
that
it in my
grip
book.
was actually pretty impressive.
All right. 3 comes down in front.
On purpose. I'm gonna
-3 times 5 over 8 is what we're looking at here. Okay? Now, the -3 is over 1. Yes?
15 over
No, there's
So,
water.
when?
I needed my paper.
Be quiet.
I lost my pencil.
Is this still rewriting?
No, this is finding the derivative now.
Okay.
-3 comes down in front. -3 over 1 times 5 over 8
Negative 15 over 8.
is -15 over 8.
Time.
X to the
X to the negative 4.
-4 because you're subtracting 1, right?
I did not say
Oh
your
God,
God.
wait.
Is that confusing?
No.
-3 comes down in front. Make it a fraction. Multiply by the fraction. -15 over 8, x to the -4th power. That's what y prime is.
And that's our
Okay?
differentiation.
That's my differentiate. That's this part right here. Okay, now to rewrite him or to simplify him, I want that exponent positive. So y prime equals. Go sit or I'm kicking you
I
out.
can't find my pencil.
I don't care. I don't care.
Oh, there it is.
-15's on top, 8's on the bottom. Where does the x go?
To the bottom.
To the bottom, and it's x to the
4.
4th. There you go. Good?
Yeah.
Moving on?
Yep.
All right, last one.
This is painful.
Blah, 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 blah. This one's actually pretty easy. Okay.
Take my water bottle.
The exponent's already negative.
Flip it.
So let's flip it now. Let's bump him to the top. Okay? So to rewrite, we've got y equals 7. And I'm bumping that other thing to the top. So it's 3x to the positive 2 power. Right? You see that? I bumped him to the top. Now he's with the 7. And now he's positive 2. Yeah? Okay. What is 3x squared?
Can you tell her to leave me alone?
I didn't do anything.
Stop.
I didn't do anything.
What is 3x to the positive 2 power?
9x squared.
9x squared. Okay? But there's a 7 there.
Wait, you can do that?
You betcha. But there's a 7 there.
So make it 63.
So y equals 63x squared. Have we taken the derivative yet?
No.
No. We've just rewritten him. Well, I know how to do that pretty easy, right? Can you take the derivative of that guy pretty easy?
3 times 2.
Move the 2 down in front. What's 63 times 2? You can do that in your head.
126.
126x to the
Oh my gosh! I did it all.
That's it.
first power. And that's all you need.
That's it? That's the answer?
That's it.
That's the answer?
There's no simplify because it's already simplified. We don't have any negative exponents. Okay?
Alright,
Good?
can we get started on the first hour?
Hold on. Let me see what the next part is.
R squared.
We'll do this part and then we'll stop. Okay? Example 1 and 2 on the back side. Okay? All this says is that if you have multiple pieces, you just take the derivative of them individually. We've done this already. Okay? So, you try this. Hold on. No. Don't say it out loud. Take the derivative of number 1. Go.
3x squared.
Do it on your paper. Okay? And then you can attempt number 2. So, do 1 and 2. Try them by yourselves, and then we'll write them out. And then we'll stop, and you guys can work.
I forgot how to completely do all of that.
Same.
For the x
Is it like dividing and adding?
I think
I mean-
it's stupid that we have to move it to the top.
No,
Even if it's
this
not
one,
negative.
there's no moving to the top
I'm
on this
That's
one.
what
done.
I'm saying.
Do you move that 3 to the side?
I'm done.
What's the equivalent of
It
this?
don't matter,
I
I'm
don't
done.
know.
Can you check?
This is like negative 1/2 x to the 4th. You slide them off the side,
Yeah.
right? So treat them like that instead. Okay? Now do the derivative. Go.
Hey, can you check my answers?
You can check them here in a minute. No, because if I check your answer
Okay.
and tell you you're right, you're like,
Here.
oh, I don't have to pay attention for the next 5 minutes,
Here.
and then you screw around. So no,
Here.
no, I'm not checking them. You'll check them here in a second.
She caught it.
You got me this time. Okay, you won't get me tomorrow.
I'll send you the rest tomorrow.
I have a question.
No.
No, like seriously, if you refuse to leave a classroom, what happens?
Why?
Then they come and get you.
How?
I don't know.
Snapchat me.
War comes and get you.
On my
What?
phone. Is he gonna
You'll
carry
do
you out of
that.
the
You'll
room?
get it back, won't you?
I don't think he can move
You have
me.
the paper and just come.
It's kinda small.
Brooklyn.
Alright.
You.
First one. Number 1. How do you find the derivative? Or what did you get for the derivative for number 1?
Who,
3x
me?
squared
3x
minus
squared
1.
minus 4.
Okay, 3x squared minus 4. What happens to the 5?
Again,
disappears.
Gone. That's a constant rule. Okay, what did you write the correct notation? For
F prime of x.
f prime of x. That's the derivative. So make
What
sure you put the
happens if you
notation on the
don't write
front. Okay? It's not wrong,
But it's wrong.
but
But it ain't
putting
right.
okay, so here's my little vouch for that, okay? If you forget to put that on the end here, okay? Here's my little vouch for this. If you forget to put that on the beginning, it's not like it's that big of a deal, but up here when we were doing all of these things and we rewrite and we differentiate and we simplify and we do all that stuff, there was like some of these problems where we had to rewrite it 3 times before we could even take the derivative, right?
Not us though. We're
So it's helpful to use that notation because at this point I'm like, have I taken the derivative yet? Well, no, I haven't because it's still y, right? Versus here in this step, have I taken the derivative? Yes, because now I've called it y prime. So that is why I would always encourage you to rewrite it and put it in that notation, right? Does that make sense? Okay, so yes, in these problems, it's not that big of a deal because, I mean, there's no rewrite step or whatever and it's really easy. But that's why I would encourage you to write it every time is when there's a bunch of rewrite steps, okay? This guy. Rewrite this first part as negative 1/2 x to the 4th, and then you bring the 4 down in front. Negative 2 x to the
Third.
3rd, okay? Derivative of 3x to the 3rd.
9x squared.
9x squared
Minus 2.
minus 2 g prime x, and that is all. Done?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. Get a start. You guys have like 15 minutes left. Get a start. I'm going to stop there. We'll do the rest tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Get a start.
Let's go.
Okay, there's a lot of problems, but they go
Oh my god.
really super quick.
How
Okay?
did you do number 2?
Yeah, it's the graph. We didn't do any of those.
I don't know.
It
I don't know.
must find the slope of the tangent line is just the derivative,
Are
right?
when are we turning in 4-1?
Does it ask for? Does it
What's the
give
slope
you
of the
the graph?
tangent line?
Number 2?
Yeah, what's the
It's just
slope-
saying-
What's the slope of the tangent line?
It's just the
What's
derivative.
The derivative at that point. So you can find the derivative of this, plug in 1. Find the derivative of that, plug in 1.
What? What are you saying?
No, I thought the derivative was.
The derivative of this. I'm so confused. What are you saying? What? We don't know what you're saying.
Use the graph, to estimate, so you don't actually have to find the derivative, okay? Estimate the slope of that line.
I'm gonna say,
It's crossing really nice there and really nice there.
where?
It's
Right.
only crossing nice at 1, 1.
Oh,
What are you
so
talking
it's negative
about?
It's
1/2.
crossing, and
It
0,
gives you
3,
a graph,
and
no?
0, 3.
Negative 1/2.
That's the blue line.
That's what you're trying to find. You're trying to find the slope of the
Negative
blue
1/2,
line, right? Find the slope of the blue line. Down 1 over 2. No, just look at it. How much is going up and over? It's going down 1 over 2.
Brooklyn,
Negative
don't
1/2.
get
Negative 2 over 2.
Oh my god, you know.
Down 1 over 3.
You guys are both dumb.
Right?
Down 1 over 2.
Down 1 over 1. Over 2. Down 1 over 2. So negative 1.
I don't think I've stopped my video yet.
Negative 1.